Vaughn, Tinsley, founding fathers. I'm here with Kyle Smith, and today we're talking about fatherhood. We say in founding fathers that people have to wake up, people being mothers and fathers, but we also recognize that some fathers that are awake, and they take the responsibility of fatherhood very, very, very dearly. And we see that here with Kyle Smith. He was one of the many who grew up without a father. He's going to give us feedback and insight on how it's been and lessons he's learned without having dad there in his life. Kyle, would you talk to the world and just give me some insight firsthand?
Growing up without a father, it was very, very difficult. At times when I needed a man in my life, I really didn't have a manly figure to turn to. It was only my mother and two older sisters there, and I really couldn't, tell them the problems that I was going through with women, stuff like that. Just the things you would see on TV. Growing up in the day, you see the family, Bill Cosby, all that. The father that would give you good advice. I didn't have that to turn to.
Mm-hmm.
So I always said when I had kids, I was going to be that father that my kids could come to for advice. I would be the father that lead them in the right direction since I didn't have that myself.
Mm-hmm. And you think, like, in terms of fatherhood and seeing so many young men now having children at such a young age, and it's somewhat mimicking the same steps that their fathers did, not being in their kid's life. Mm-hmm. How important is it to be in your child's life, in terms of emotionally and physically?
I mean, it's really important. That's why you see a lot of kids, the stuff happening with kids nowadays. Basically, a lot of violence, everything like that, because they don't have that father figure in their life to tell them, look, sit down.
Right.
I'm gonna teach you what life is all about. They don't have this,
right.
So they run in the streets. You got kids, 13, 14, having babies, and it's just none of these kids are ready to be fathers.
Right.
Okay, and it's just going to keep going.
The cycle's going to keep happening. In some sense, we have to break that cycle essentially and try to implement like consistent mentoring. If nothing else, being like a consistent voice in the community. I say to myself, being an assistant varsity coach and as well as being a father, my role is not limited to speaking to young kids in the community and talking about what it takes to be a young man to eventually become a man, because it's not easy.
Yeah.
It's not easy, and we realize there are a lot of kids that are growing up without fathers, and we have to, essentially we have to be the ones who support them.
Yeah, I mean, it's not easy at all. I mean, I tell my son all the time, look, in our situation, it's I want to lead him to the right, down the right path.
Right. Now you had a different situation in terms of that. Why don't you just
exactly. Go ahead. Well, in my situation with my son, I didn't know about him.
Right.
So it took 5 years, and after 5 years, I found out about him, and his mother, our situation, she was like, all I need from you is money, basically.
Wow.
And I'm like, money is not everything.
Right.
I want to spend time with my son.
Right.
When I found out about him, my first instinct was to go up there and take care of him.
Right.
That's what I'm doing.
Right.
And now I get him all the time because I want to be the man in his life that my father wasn't to me.
Wow. Wow.
That's take him to a ball game.
Wow.
Take him out, have fun. We go out to dinner. Me, him, and my daughter. They know each other. They love each other.
Right. And it's interesting that you said that because oftentimes we find that fathers feel that financially, if they can support their kids, them not being there.
That's the statement. Money can't buy you love.
Right.
is the true statement.
Right.
Because you can give a kid all the money in the world, but if you don't give them their time, what are you doing?
Right.
Money is not going to tell them this is not right, this is not wrong. A father has to tell them, look, sit them down, tell them from right from wrong.
Right.
A father has to spend time with their kid.
Right.
I mean, I could give you as much money as I want to. You can go do whatever you want to do with it. But that's not teaching you anything.
I absolutely agree with you. And I think that, it's important now you know, as fathers being in the community, we talk about these things. You know, we bring these topics up because some fathers say, you know what, I send hundreds of thousands of dollars a year to my son. How much time are you really spending? How often do you talk to? And this is what I say.
Oftentimes, not to cut you off,
Yeah.
but oftentimes I hear a lot of guys out there, when they go and it's child support this, they go down to child support
Right.
court, and they say, well, look, the girl getting $240 a week, so that's all she need. What I need to go get him for?
Yeah.
I never understood that theory.
Yeah. And I mean,
that $240 a week is not going to be able to support that kid mentally.
right.
It's not doing anything.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, you're buying supplies, but it's a whole lot more value in time than it is in money.
Yeah.
Like I'm coming back to.
Yeah.
Because that money is not going to, be there when, Daddy, can you read me a bedtime story?
Right.
Or,
wow.
Daddy, I fell down. Daddy, can you teach me how to ride a bike? Money can't teach them how to ride a bike.
Right.
You have to do that.
I agree.
Teach them how to grow.
And here's the thing. There's a lot of generation, particularly this young generation now having kids, teenagers having children. There has to be somebody who steps up and says, you know what, enough is enough. You know what, we got to start talking more. We got to get these young individuals and show them. Because their fathers are in jail. Their fathers are incarcerated. And so now we need fathers to step up and take the role of helping. And we can see the little kids. Look at
He said he wanted to.
Yes.
Y'all okay? NJ, you having fun? Behaving yourself? All right. That's what we do. That's his son and my daughter. His daughter and my son. And they're together and they're having a good time. And we're talking about fatherhood. But what's most important, we know where our kids are. We're not paying child support. We support our children,
Yes.
mentally, emotionally, physically. I'm telling you, don't underestimate the value of spending physical time with your son and daughter. It is so significant, especially in this day and age. And if nothing else, we got to talk about it because there are a lot of fathers who think they're doing the right thing, and you're not. Hence disease. We got to wake up.
Yeah.
So,
it's a perfect scripture that says, "Train up a child in the way he should go. And when they get old, they won't stray far from that."
That's right.
I mean, I know that even though my father wasn't there, my mother trained me to be the man that I am today.
Yeah. Yeah.
A lot of times we underestimate what a woman can do as well. But I mean, a woman can train you, but she can't teach you how to be a man. Only a man can teach you how to be a man, and that's what a father does.
That's right.
I'm a good man because I had a great mother, but who to say if my father was there, my situation might be even better than what it is currently.
Right.
But what she couldn't teach me, I had to learn myself, and I'm glad that I was, I could be in the streets because of the things that I saw my father do,
Right.
and the things that I saw other guys around me doing. But I strayed away from that. But I didn't have the father to tell me, look, I'm not gonna have you out in the streets. Let me put you in basketball. Let me put you in football. Let me put you in baseball. I mean, you underestimate how, those extracurricular activities will keep you off the streets and out of jail.
Right. Perhaps if there were structured programs.
Structured programs. I mean, a lot of times, I mean, it's like schools and everything is cutting out all these programs, and I mean, it's community things that children can get in nowadays. But a lot of times mothers are working so many jobs and things like that they can't do that. I mean, if you have a 2-parent home, or even if a father comes and gets his child and takes them and to the football field, take them to ride his bike, just keep them off those streets.
Right.
Because they training them young now to go and be drug dealers, runners.
Right.
Basically, you got kids probably 10, 11 years old having sex now, having babies. That shouldn't be. With fathers out here, more of the homes would be structured, and I think a lot of these things would not be happening.
So would it be fair for one to say that talking more,